What mass of glucose C6H12O6 would be required to prepare 5 liters of a 0.215 molar solution? So this is a problem involving molarity, and with any problem like that, the formula for calculating molarity, which is denoted by big M, is moles of solute divided by volume of solutions, or moles divided by liters. Let's analyze this problem and see what information we have to work with. So, given information, we are given the volume of the solution, which is 5 liters. So 5 liters is the volume. That's one piece of the puzzle. And then another piece of information given to us is the molarity, which is 0.215 m. And molarity is another piece of the puzzle. And our unknown is what mass of glucose. So we're looking for the mass of glucose. So how many grams of glucose? The mass. We don't know. Now, in order to get the grams of glucose, or the mass, we need some more information. We're going to need the moles, because we have molarity and we have volume. We're going to need moles, and we're going to need to convert those moles to grams. So what's required? Moles of glucose. We're going to have to find that in there. So let's come up with a plan to attack this problem. Here's our plan. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to just plug in the information that we have. We're going to plug it right into the equation, and in order to isolate the unknown variable, which is moles of solute. Once we plug in our molarity and our volume of solution, we'll be left over with moles of solute, which we can then convert to grams. That will be our second step, converting moles to grams. So without further ado, now that we understand where we're going, we have our roadmap, our plan, let's do this first. First step in our plan, plug in the given information into the equation in order to isolate the unknown variable. So I'm going to bring this equation down here, and this is what we're working with. Molarity equals moles of solute divided by volume of solution. And let me add another piece of paper. Now we're given molarity, which is 0.215. So 0.215 is given, equals, we don't know that, moles of solute. Moles of solute divided by our volume of solution is also given, 5 liters. Now we need to isolate this, so let's do that by multiplying both sides by 5 times 5 times 5, and once we do that, these 5s will cancel. And when they do, and we do this math out over here, we get 1.075 moles of glucose is equal to moles of solute. And there we go. So we found the moles of solute, or moles of glucose, and that is what was required. So we can go ahead and fill that in, 1.075 moles of glucose. And now that we have the required information, the moles, we can go ahead with step 2 of our plan, which is to convert moles to grams. So let's, in order to convert moles to grams, we need to know the molar mass of glucose. That's what's required. for the second step. Molar mass of glucose of C6H12O6. That's the chemical formula for glucose. That's what's required. So let's go ahead and find that molar mass by finding the molar mass of each of these elements using our trusty periodic table. And so the molar mass of carbon is 12. The molar mass of hydrogen is 1. Molar mass of oxygen is 16. All right. So we will say carbon is 12, but we have 6 of them. So they're going to multiply that by 6. Mass of hydrogen is 1. Multiply that by 12, since there are 12 of them. Mass of oxygen is 16. Multiply that by 6 of them. And now let's go ahead and do this math out. 12 times 6 is 72. 1 times 12 is 12. 16 times 6 is 96. And now that we have the mass of each element, let's add them all up. And the molar mass of glucose is 180 grams per mole. So now we found the molar mass of glucose, which is 180 grams per mole. That's what's required to convert from moles to grams. So now let's go on with converting from moles to grams. As we can recall, our moles is 1.075. So let's start with that. 1.075 moles of glucose, C6H12O6. And we're going to set that up by putting it over 1. That way it's a fraction. It has a numerator and a denominator. And we're going to multiply that by another fraction, which we call the conversion fraction. And now we can see that we want to cancel out this moles. So I'm going to put moles on the bottom. 1 mole of glucose, C6H12O6. And that's equivalent to 180 grams. 180 grams of glucose. And when I set it up like this, my moles is on the bottom and it's on the top, therefore it cancels. And now all I have to do is just multiply my fractions together. 1.075 times 180 will be equal to 193.5 grams of glucose, and 1 times 1 equals 1, and this divided by 1 equals that. So this will be our final answer. And it looks like we found the grams of glucose.